Hello, this is Adrian Beret from Podium Physio, and I'm sitting with Noahd'unienville, who is a PhD student here at the University of South Australia, and I've just been participating in his research project. So Noah, I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about this project that you're doing currently. What's going on?
Yeah. So the focus of it is on the effects of almonds, sultanas and cranberries on endurance, performance and recovery in cyclists. So that's the focus of it. There's also a little bit we're looking at in terms of things like brain function, a couple of other fatigue markers as well. So a lot of interesting stuff going on with it. Cool.
And how did you come to get involved and interested in this particular study, and sort of what was your progress through your undergraduate study as well?
Yeah, so I did a undergrad degree in exercise science. Was looking at doing physio for a while, but ended up really kind of being a curious guy, wanted to find some answers. Did an honours, so a bit of a research project looking at some sprint cycling. Really enjoyed that, so was keen to keep that going. PhD opportunity opened up and I was able to get involved in this one, kind of I've always been pretty interested in nutrition as well, so getting to integrate that nutrition work, that exercise science, exercise physiology all into one project was something I was really keen on.
Okay.
And great team of supervisors as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I've just finished my involvement in this study, but can you explain from your point of view what exactly happens to the participants that enrol in the study? What do they go through?
Yeah. So basically you'll have first a familiarisation, just where we do some testing, make sure you know everything that's involved in the study. You've then got basically a 1 week of light training just to make sure you're reasonably fresh. You come in, we then get your baseline measures. After that, you've got 2 weeks of really, really tough training. Adrian, I'm sure, can attest to that. And then during those 2 weeks, you're going to be eating either almonds and dried fruit or a comparative food, which is oat bars. Each and every day you eat those foods, and basically we're looking at if those foods might reduce the drop-off in performance you get from that bout of heavy training, because that heavy training is actually designed to be too much for the body to handle. It's designed to fatigue you in the short term. So we're seeing if we can reduce the drop-off in performance, drop-off in some measures of muscle damage, drops off in well-being as well that are associated with those kind of training camp style programs, overreaching programs. And then there's 2 more weeks where you get a taper, so much lighter, a few rest days in there as well. You keep on eating those foods, and we're basically seeing whether or not the almonds, dried fruit might maximize the improvements that you get at the end of that taper. So everyone should be improving at the end. It's just whether or not the almonds and dried fruit participants improve more is generally what we're looking at, or is the expectation.
Yes. So you describe that middle training block as heavy.
Yes.
I recall it not so fondly. What's the most imaginative description you've had of that 2 week block from other participants that you could say in public?
Say in public? Really, I think Adrian's put it best. What I've seen him post on Strava is every day is the pain train. Is probably the most suitable one. It has been, some people really enjoy the challenge, kind of the brutality of it in a sense. Others not so much. So it is definitely everyone's hardest 2 weeks of training they've ever done in their lives. But a lot of people, probably one of the biggest takeaways I think a lot of people have is realizing just how much they can push themselves. Everyone comes out of the study basically saying how much more they want to push themselves in their own training after doing this, because everything feels easy once you've done that heavy 2 weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, that's been something I've heard almost across the board.
Yeah.
So far, but yeah, we've had plenty of expletives used. There's a little training diary people can keep notes. We've had some interesting notes to hear reviews of people about the training. So yeah, it's definitely not designed to be to be fun. It's not something that is meant to be sustainable. It is super tough. And yeah, definitely not for everyone, but if you're really looking for a challenge, definitely can recommend it.
Have you done it?
I've not done the 2 weeks of training. I'm not a fit enough cyclist to do 2 weeks of it. I've done 2 days of it in a row, and that was enough for me. So basically, I wouldn't qualify in terms of fitness for my own study. I've started cycling a little bit, commuting last year, but was still not at the stage I need to be to get involved in my own project. Definitely is one of the things I want to do by the end of the PhD is force myself to live in the shoes of my participants that I've been making do this.
Highly recommend.
So yeah, definitely doing the training sessions, even just doing 1 or 2 while you're reasonably fresh, is still really tough. It definitely is. Personally, I found it that I don't think I would have been able to push myself anywhere near as hard, even on just those sessions, if I didn't have the heart rate to hold me accountable. So yeah, I've done a few sessions running as well. That's a little bit easier, mainly because it's a bit shorter.
Yeah.
But they're all really tough, really good workouts. But yeah, definitely want to give that a go, a full go by the end.
Okay. So you're looking at males between the age of 18 and 50. It sounds like you need to have a reasonable level of cycling fitness to come in. Why would a cyclist get involved in the study? What's in it for the participant?
Yeah. So one reason that a lot of people have got involved in the study, probably the main one, is just looking at their performance. Just curious cyclists are very stats-driven guys compared to most other athletes, and everyone wants to know things like their average power, like their maximum aerobic power, kind of a bit of a decent estimate of FTP, which isn't necessarily part of the project, but we can give better estimates than most of the other apps that people are using that seem to be pretty hopeless a lot of the time. A lot of people, the VO2 max test, a lot of people are really interested in it as well. It's the most sports sciencey thing people can imagine a lot of the time. Everyone loves to get a photo with the VO2 gear on. I'd say a lot of people are also really keen to get involved. They might have be trying to get back to a fitness level that they had in the past. They want something to kickstart that. They want something that's going to help them stay accountable, make sure that they push themselves for a good month, and then some people have heard about it from their friends, and they want to see how they do compared to their mates and things like that as well. So yeah, there's a number of reasons people have done it. I mean, a couple have done it for free food as well. It's not like it's going to be that much, but... And
there's a small financial incentive?
Yep, so there is a $350 honorarium involved for those that complete it as well. So that's just the cherry on top. Most people aren't doing it for that reason, but I'm sure Adrian will, when he walks out and thinks, oh yeah, I get that as well. It's a little bit of icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. Everyone loves icing. So when this project wraps up, and I think it'll be a little bit longer to go just yet, where do you see yourself heading with that PhD under your belt and a little bit of extra credibility there?
Yeah, so as part of doing my PhD, one thing I've been able to do a lot of is some tutoring as well. So I'd like to do some of that in the future, tutoring in exercise science, maybe nutrition. But I'm also just really interested in finding lots of answers, particularly around training and around supplementation in general. I think is one thing would be really good to keep on looking into, like different kinds of supplements, different foods as well, and their effects on training, and some of the adaptations that people get from training is something I'd be interested in looking into in the future, hopefully.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Noah, thanks for the opportunity to be a part of the study. I'm very glad that I participated in it, and I'm very thankful that I pushed myself through that 2-week block in the middle, which is extremely difficult but very valuable. I'm looking forward to testing myself now that I've come out the other side. Good luck with the rest of the project and finishing it off, and I'll send through some of my Strava data if I am successful in getting any further PBs in the future.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right,
thank you.
Thanks very
so
much
for all your hard work and dedication over the last month as well.
Yes.
I'm
been a good challenge.
I'm very grateful for all the participants that do push themselves.
All right. Yeah. All the best finishing that off.